And we're live. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Glad you're all here. Well, you know what we got to do. We got to start with the lows and see who gets the cookie and all that. Let's see, I got sound all right, I should. Let's see, looks like Hot Dog Pilot Andy got the cookie. Very cool. Glad to see you here tonight, Andy, and enjoy that cookie. And looks like Gerald Stewart, he got the half cookie. So enjoy that half cookie, Gerald. Glad you're here too. We also have Skullkill River Valley. John, how's it going? Good to see you. And Joe Rader, Black Rock Central Railroad, says he's eating chicken so won't be tight. Yeah, you don't want to get chicken oil on your keyboard, man. Anyway, enjoy that chicken. Hopefully it's finger licking good. Yeah, we got Tom Grassy. Tom, how's it going? Good to see you here tonight. And John Nippenberg. Hey, John, good to see you. And that's everybody so far. All right, well, that's a start. Of course, you know, usually everybody pops in a little later anyway. So, you may ask, what have I been doing all week? Well, I did a little bit, not a whole lot. Actually, I'm probably going to get more done starting tomorrow into next Thursday. I did buy a bunch of wood for the, let me change cameras here. For the overhead, second level, I got the rest of the wood I need for that as far as the framework goes. But I still got to get the plywood and the foam, which will probably be next month. Because I spent over $100 again on the rest of the wood. Also got the wood for this, the 1x4s to bring the table out and the bench out more so I can get the tip up in. The tip up's already built. It's over there. You can't see it, but so I'm gonna try and get all that stuff done starting tomorrow into next week, and should have a lot to show come next Thursday, hopefully. I've also been busy printing. Matter of fact, you can see behind me, I believe. Come on, switch over. You can see, let's see, right, other way. I've got both printers running. Actually, the one is finished. Let me pull that piece off real quick. Takes about 7 hours to print one of these. These are the braces for the second level. So far I printed 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 done. I think I need 5 more. So once these are finished, I'll have all the braces I need. And of course on the other printer, the one that's still moving, I'm printing these supports for the elevated rail. I have a bunch of those done too. And if you can see some of those, they're right there on the bottom bench. I've got 3, 6, 9. I've got 10 of those done. I'm probably going to need at least 20 more, and I'm hard to say. But they literally go about every 12 inches on the girders, so. And I also got some more stuff done. Well, hold on. Let's say hello to Ray Bertelson. Ray, how's it going? Good to see you here. And did anybody else sneak in there? Nope, that's it. Okay. Ray says he'll be lurking and listening because he's got chores to do. Well, we all got chores. So, I'm going to show you another camera. I'm going to show a few camera angles of what I've actually been doing so you can get some little close-up stuff on there. Let's see, I think this one here. Okay, this is what would normally be the tunnel cam. I've got the tunnel moved off for the moment. I'm going to have to redo that anyway, make it look more like a mountain side there. You know, the part you see. But you can see up above is the elevated rail. And yes, it does sit on top of the bridge because that's just where it happened to land. And it actually works out pretty good anyway because it makes an excellent brace for it. And you can get a different view from here. Okay, this is my mobile camera, sort of mobile. And you can see where the girders are on top of the bridge. And they go and then they curve around to both left and right. And let's see, I think it's this one here. You can see where I still got to connect those two up. Like I said, I was mostly trying to figure out where everything needed to land. So, yeah. So these are about the best I can come up with. And then, let's see, we got the west camera here. You can see these are already in place. Now, I haven't glued down the bases yet on those elevated girder supports. That'll be done after I probably get the second level more or less finished, where all the construction is done. So, because I want it to be good and solid, so we won't have any rocking or tilting or anything like that. So that's what we got so far. And like I said, starting tomorrow, I'll start building the rest of the second level. Now it's 11 foot, and I think I wrote it down here. Now it's 12 foot 5 inches. It goes all the way across the back. So I'm going to build one single piece that I can lay in. It'll screw to the wall, of course. I won't put supports under it because I won't need them. And they'll tie into the left-hand side where I'll screw it to that, which will give it additional support. And same with the right-hand side. I'll screw into that one. That'll come up next. And it'll give plenty of support for the back section. Now it's 18 inches deep. It's going to be 18 inches all the way around for most of it. Now I'm only coming forward 16 foot. I think it was 16. Maybe it was 24. I don't remember. Actually, I think it's 24. So when I get up close to this end here, I'm going to build it out a little bit. And I'm probably going to have a chain support from the ceiling. You know, it's just for a little added stability. How big is my train room, John? Technically it's 12 by 32. But I'm running about, I think it's 26 or 27 for the layout to the end. And with the interior walls, it's not really, well, I don't know, I guess I wrote 12. That can't be, no, that's 125. Yeah, 125 inches across. So it's 11 foot 7 or something like that. It's not quite 12 because they measure the outside dimensions of the trailer. So outside it's 12 foot wide and 32 foot long. But you subtract, basically 8 inches from front to rear. So you're not quite 32 now, you're 31.2 or something like that. And same with, you're going to subtract 4 inches from side to side because of the studs. And actually, it's going to be 5 inches because you got 1/2 inch drywall on there. So that's 1 inch between the two walls. So basically, it comes out to like 11 foot 5 or 11 foot 6. Somewhere, and I forgot what the measurement is. But yeah, that's a pretty good space. I mean, it's not bad. I originally wanted 20 by 40, but that didn't pan out, so I have to do what I got to do. He said I am going to be building an addition on the other side of this wall. I'm not going to take this wall down. As a matter of fact, behind me here, which is actually over there, there'll be a doorway to get into the other end, but it'll be separate but connected to this shed. And that's going to be 6 foot by 16 foot. That's where the helix is going to be to get to the second level. And I want to move all my printers and the sink into that other room because it's really just too damn crowded here. And I hate being crowded. And let's see, we got a few people popped in here. Let's see here. We got Rick's Trades. Rick, how's it going? Good to see you here. Oh, you're quite welcome, sir. They're on the layout. Cool. Hope you do a video or something on it so we can all see. We have Chasco. Chuck, how's it going? Good to see you. Mom and Son Train Rail fans. Tammy and Ray, how's it going, Tammy? Saw your video earlier. It was cool. Ray was having a blast with your controller. And your train. That was funny. Let's see here. That's everybody so far. Yeah, that's everybody. Okay, so that's, like I said, there's big plans here. The expansion, I don't think, is going to happen real soon. I'm thinking maybe I'll start on it probably around December or January, depending when I get the property taxes paid. This year I'm starting to put the money together a little earlier, so I should be able to pay them in November when they're due. if that's the case, then I can start in December on the exterior, and I could throw quite a bit of money into it, actually. Hey, Chuck Schreiber, how's it going? Good to see you here, eh? All aboard the Thursday night Shortline. Yep, that's it. Okay, chicken's done. The fingers are licked. All right, cool. I had what the hell? I had veal cutlet tonight and some French fries. I say I'm almost ready to try. I haven't eaten chicken in a while. I'm about ready to have some chicken, just for fun. Let's see. Okay, so that's the plan as it stands. Now, I actually had a little extra money this month. And I lied. I said I wasn't going to buy more wood till I fixed my truck. But I says, I'd rather buy the wood and do that rather than change the damn starter on my Ford Ranger. I'm going to have to do it at some point because I said next month I want to get the plywood and the foam, and there's no way in hell I'm putting that in my car. I mean, yeah, it'll fit in the trunk, sort of, half of it. The car's got a big trunk, and I've done it before. But I'd rather use the truck for that, so at some point this month, I'm going to climb under that thing and change the damn starter. It's going to happen one way or the other, because I got to do it. Yeah, it's pointless to have a truck if you can't drive it. So I got to get that taken care of, but like I said, I made the choice, decided to use my car to get the wood. It didn't really take, just slide it through the back window into the front floorboard, and only sticks out about maybe 2 foot, And I bought 12 1x3s and one 1x4. The 1x4, like I said, is for the bench extension over here, which I should have done before Thursday, along with hopefully the completed second level, as far as the framework goes. Hey, Dwight, how's it going? Good to see you, man. So, I've also been working on some other things. Now, Matt actually asked me for propane trailer and truck. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. I don't know if he changed his mind or not, but I went ahead and printed one. And it actually came out really nice. This is the, let me change cameras here. This is the propane trailer. It's pretty detailed. Like I said, I got to paint it up. It'll look real nice once it's painted. And I've got this semi cab here that I'm using for that. So it's a nice little setup. So I printed those. So if anybody's interested, let me know. Because I'll print more if somebody wants them. I also printed, at Matt's request, some 500-gallon commercial propane tanks. I said, this is what you'd put behind a business, They're 500-gallon or 500 pounds, however you want to determine it. Yeah, actually, Dwight, I can. If anybody's interested in the corn, I will be more than happy to print them out for you. So I have those. I also have I got some other tanks that are not, I'm not sure what, it's like a 750 gallon. But it doesn't have proper legs on it. This is like, it was an experiment. But anybody wants anything like that, let me know, because I can definitely produce it without any problem. John, I'll tell you a quick story. He says you're supposed to haul plywood on your car roof. You have no rope, just you holding it with your left hand and your buddy holding it with his right hand. Just roll down the windows, works for mattresses. Yeah. Well, my car needs a paint job really bad. The car's only got it right now. It's got 91,000 on it. I've had it. Basically, I had to take it away from my dad because of his Alzheimer's. I got it in 2010. It's an '04. And when I got it, it had 13,000 miles on it, okay? I tried to take really good care of it, but it's a machine paint job. In other words, they had robots painted the car at the factory. Well, the paint just literally fell off at most of it. So it got so bad that I had a lot of rot in the roof. So the first time I had it painted, you know, which I got ripped off, and it's probably my own fault. I should have known it was too cheap. But the guy repaired the roof. There was only a couple of small, like, rust holes in it. You know, they weren't really holes. They were just surface rust. Well, he messed up the paint job really bad. I mean, and then the thing started rotting off, you know, rotting away, and the paint was falling off again. So I really got screwed. So I took it to another body shop. The guy looked at it. He says, well, you're going to need another roof. I says, why? He says, well, there's about a pound of Bondo in it. I go, are you fucking kidding me? He says, no. He says, I don't know what the hell whoever worked on this thing didn't know what the hell they were doing. I said, well, that explains, I guess, why the paint isn't sticking or anything. I said, so can you put another roof on it? He says, yeah. He says, it's about $1,200 for a roof and the labor to put it on and paint it, you know, the same color as the rest of the car. I said, all right, we'll go ahead and do it. So I gave it to him. He put it on it. The roof is beautiful. The paint job on it is beautiful. It's the only part of the car that has a good paint on it. So there ain't no way in hell I'm putting anything on that roof. It ain't happening. So, you know, quick story there. I had to tell you that. That's just the way it goes. So, yeah, I don't like hauling things on the cars. I've done it before. Not on this car, but on my other cars. I've hauled mattresses. I've hauled bathtubs. I had a fiberglass bathtub I bought and didn't have a truck at the time, so I tied it to my car. You know, I was driving the Riata. Was I driving the Riata? I think it was the Riata, Buick Riata. We tied it down on the roof and drove it all the way from Fort Myers to Naples. So, you know, but I try not to do that. That's why I bought the damn truck to haul stuff with. But the truck's an 03 Ford Ranger, got the V6 in it, automatic trans, which I always worried about that transmission because if you hammer on it, it will slip a little bit. Otherwise, it's fine. But I'm pretty sure everything is original on this truck. It has 249 or 48,000 miles on it. It's 250,000 miles, you know. And everything's original except for the water pump, the fan clutch pulley, belts and hoses. That stuff I replaced. Oh, and one brake line on the front. That was my fault. I hit something with it. Tore it off. But the rest of the truck, I mean, even the starter on there is original equipment. So, you know, I knew it was bound to go at some point. I was just hoping it wouldn't be this quick. Ah, it is what it is. Dwight says, yeah, I had to have an eye test. Have to go back in 6 months. Yeah, they want me to do an eye scan. My insurance company does, but you know, last time I did one, I think it actually hurt my vision a little bit. I'm not doing it again. Fuck them. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, but you know, for some guys though, they probably do need to get it done. Yeah, Earl Scheib. I don't think he's around anymore, but I remember those way back in the day. I think they're gone now. Even the Electrobake, I think, is gone now too. I think they still have the Mako jobs. And I can get Mako to repaint the car, and I want a different color. I hate that I go as green. They call it gold. It's fucking green, you know. But I'm looking at about close to 3,000, which isn't bad. And they do a pretty good job if you catch them on the right day. But there's a body shop around the corner from here. He was talking $8,000 to paint the car, and I'm going, the car ain't worth $8,000. Why would I put more into a paint job than the car is actually worth? I don't know. I says, why do you charge so much? Well, we take every part off and paint it individually. You don't need to do that. Leave the fucking parts on there. You take off the grill and the headlights and stuff that are easy to remove. You mask off the tires, door handles, stuff like that, any chrome. And you shoot the son of a bitch. You know? You probably half of that money is your labor pulling all the panels off. Which is ridiculous. Well, that's what we do. Oh, you ain't doing it here. Hey, Anfield Road layout in the loft. Lee, how's it going? Good to see you. So, I'm telling you, man, everything nowadays, they just want to bend you over, you know? No Vaseline, no big wet kiss or nothing. Just ram it right in there. It's not going to happen. I can't afford it. Then the air conditioning in my house is acting up again. And you know, I don't have $8,000. That's another $8,000 to $10,000 to get a new one. I can't afford that. You know, so I mean, it works sometimes. It keeps freezing up. It's either low on freon, which I could check that. And I just need to get out there and do it, or the evaporator coil is so mucked up that I'm not getting good airflow through, which is what I had the problem before. We literally spent 3 days washing it, cleaning it, blowing it out, and I thought it was fine, but maybe not. I assume it's one of the two, or it could be something more detailed, like they got. I think they have a dryer outside on the high side line, probably like an orifice tube, but it could be clogged up. Who knows? You know. I don't have the equipment to do that, to repair it. So I don't know. Like I said, the last time I had a guy in there, which was a couple of months ago, and I said, you know, what do you think? He said, well, you know, it turned out I needed a new start capacitor on a condenser motor, fan motor. That cost me $80 plus $150 for them coming out, you know. And I said, check the Freon, make sure it's, you know, it's full. If it ain't, top it off, you know. Oh, no, it's fine. I don't think he checked it. So I could check it myself. I have gauges. It's not a big deal. Hey, Derek Alexander, how you doing? Good to see you here. So, you know, like I said, it's one thing after another, you know. It's enough to just piss off the folk. And it ain't the worst of it. You know what? I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. Here we go. Is it time for a rant? Did somebody say rant? And if they did, too bad. You're getting one anyway. My rant tonight. Now, let me show you something here. Not that. See that printer? It's an Epson ET2720, what's known as an eco tank. It doesn't use cartridges. You flip open the front door and just dump in the different color inks. It's a great system. The printer itself was kind of pricey. I think it was almost $300. But the beauty of it is the ink is dirt cheap. I get a box of 4 colors, big ass bottles, enough to do like 60,000 pages each. And that package, I think, was you have $13 for it, something like that. It was under $20. And I still haven't used I bought 2 boxes, I still haven't used the second one. So, and I think I still got about half a bottle left in each of the first box. So, I mean, and I do a lot of printing, right? Well, I went to print a label for my wife last night, you know, a postage label. Hit print, and I'm waiting, and I look on the screen on the printer, and it's got an error message. It says, printer pad entered end of life, contact Epson. I go, what the fuck is this, right? So, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I said, well, I'm not going to call Epson because they're either going to tell me to get a new printer or want to charge me ridiculous money to fix this one. That thing's only, I think it's only 2 years old, almost 3 years old. So I get on YouTube, right? Because YouTube has all the answers for everything. Well, it turns out it's a WIC problem. WIC. Now, it doesn't stand for women and children like for food stamps. It stands for waste ink counter. WIC. So in the back of the machine, there's a panel you got to take off. Once you remove this panel, looks like a reservoir there, right? So you unscrew the screw for that, you pull it out, and it looks like felt pads in there, like 5 of them. And what happens is whenever the machine cleans itself, which it does on occasion, it dumps the excess ink into that little box. That's what's called the waste ink. So, apparently it was full. So I pulled it out, I looked at it, didn't look full, but, the pads were pretty well saturated with the ink. Well, it turns out there's a sensor in there that acts as just as some sort of a counter. It goes by percentages, and I was at 100%, so that's it, right? So I'm thinking, all right, that's great. Now how do I fix this thing? So I find another video, and this Chinese guy, which he was really difficult to understand, he explained how you fix the problem. Now, there's 2 ways to fix it. Well, the first thing you got to do is change the code on the chip. So there's a free software program called Reset WIC or something like that. But you have to buy a key. So it's a numerical key that's only good for one time, and it's $9.99, $10. That's all right. So I buy the key, but they said you can only use it once, so you want to make sure you don't screw up, because if you screw up, you just throw away $10. You have to buy another key. So I watched the video 2 or 3 times to make sure I knew how to do it, and if there were certain steps you had to take, to shut off all the drivers for the printer temporarily so that it wouldn't interfere with the waste ink counter thingy there, right? So I do it. It comes out fine. We're good to go. But now I got to deal with this canister. So they got 2 ways to fix it. Now, they said you could buy new pads, new felt pads to put in there, and it cost like $30. And I'm thinking, well, fuck that. Why can't I just clean them? So I take the thing out. I pull the pads out. So there's about 5 or 6 of them in there. Throw it in the aluminum sink. Put my gloves on so I don't get ink all over myself. And I wash the things out. The ink is water-based anyway. So they came out spotless. They're like new, brand new white pads. I had to let them dry overnight because they don't put them back in there wet, right? So I squeezed them out as best I could. Set them on the paper wipes, paper napkins, whatever. Let them dry overnight on that. So washed out the tub, all that crap. So this morning I came in, they were dry. Put them all back into the proper order. It was not hard to figure out how to do it. Put it all back together and prints like a champ. Well, it turns out that Epson got a little bit of trouble for this. So the newer machines, I guess probably a year or so after I got mine, they don't have that counter anymore. Because basically it's bullshit. And if you call up Epson, because another guy I was listening to on a YouTube video, he goes through the steps too. And he says, I called up Epson and they said throw it in the ocean. They were being facetious, but basically saying throw it away, you can't do anything with it. Well, they were lying, of course. They want you to spend another $300 or more on a new printer. Now, I couldn't find any place where anybody actually cleaned those pads. So I took it upon myself to do it. It worked fine. But they do have a deal. It's another $30. It's a bottle with a clear plastic line. You have to drill a hole in the back panel of the printer. And you take out the reservoir container. You throw that away. and there's another line in there with you put a one-way valve on it, and that comes with the kit too. And the clear hose, and then you put it in the bottle. The bottle has 2 pieces of Velcro, so you can hang it on the side of the printer. And that's their fix. The good thing about it is, of course, if it gets full, you just empty it out. It's no big deal. You still have to probably reset the chip if you have one. But at least you don't have to fool around with the pads. But like I said, I washed them out, dried them, and they're fine. I should be good for at least another 2 years before I have to, do the whole thing over again. So anyway, like I said, Epson got in trouble. So they were forced to take away that feature. So now you can run them things without any problem. I think they have something that lets you know when the reservoir is full. You still have to remove it and empty it, but there's no chip in there that shuts down the damn printer. I'm telling you, I know what the hell is wrong with these companies. Well, I do. I mean, it's all about greed, obviously. But it's such bullshit, Let's put chips in everything. I think we should shove a chip up somebody's ass, That's one way to fix it real quick, ain't it? Let me check here and see what I missed on the chat. I get to yakking. You guys did a lot of yakking while I was yakking. Did I miss anybody else that came in? Let's see. Derek. They say hi, Derek. How you doing? Joe Rich says the government lies, Thomas. Well, yeah, about everything, which is why we don't believe them. Derek says, Tom, they also told us an employment was up for the last 3 months, and then all 3 reports were revised down 2 weeks. Well, of course, they're lying about it, The places are laying off people left and right. That was the latest one. It was at John Deere, I think? They're moving their operations to Mexico. They just laid off 12,000 employees, but unemployment's gone down. Sure it has. You gotta love it. Hey, Happy Valley Hobbies. Hey, Edward, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Long time no hear. And James from Dundas Junction, Model Railroad. Hey, James, how's it going? Let's see. Derek says, built-in obsolescence, send me money, $10 for key, 30 for pads, and buy a new printer. That's the size of it, But fortunately, thank God, I mean, in some ways, that's where YouTube is a lifesaver. I would have never figured that out. I didn't know what the hell we were talking about. They're saying the ink pad had exceeded its life and, it's an end-of-life situation. I'm going, what the hell are they talking about, an ink pad? I mean, I know there's 4 ink tanks, 4 printer heads, but I didn't know anything about that. As I said, I would have never known that was right in the back corner. One screw, you take off the panel. I should have left that out. I could have showed everybody. But if you guys ever run in, if you have an Epson, and this isn't just for the Eco Tank, apparently it's for all Epsons. So even if you have a different one, and that happens, drop me a line. I can help you. I can walk you through repairing it. But it's stupid. Let's see here. Lee says he got a new video out on his channel. We'll have to check that out. If you want to post a link, Lee, you can do that. I'll make everybody else. It'll be easier for everybody to find it. And James says, I have AFib. Well, I had AFib. I had the operation done, but let me tell you something. I didn't find out until after I had the operation. I had it real bad. I mean, I checked my own blood pressure and stuff, and every time I check my blood pressure, I'm getting, I can't think of a name for it now. Your heartbeat was, out of rhythm. Irregular heartbeat, that's what I'm thinking of. So, Well, it's just like getting a stent, because they go in through, well, I think now they go in through your arm, but at that time they went in through your leg, snaked up to your heart with a laser, and they burnt away a nerve that they claim causes the AFib. That's what they did to me, because I was on the pills first. The problem with the pills are, not blood thinners, but the actual AFib medication, it's only good for about 5 years. Then it stops working. But what I found out was, and it pisses me off, that another thing that causes AFib is lack of potassium. If you can get blood work done on yourself, James, see what your potassium levels are. If they're below 4, you have a potassium deficiency, or below 3.5, I think. Anything lower than 3.5 is potassium deficiency, which causes AFib. Okay? But the doctors don't tell you that, because they did a 45-minute operation for me, $1,000 a minute, $45,000. Yeah, it fixed the problem, but it was probably unnecessary. Turns out I was low on potassium. You know, it's just like I said, you got to watch some of these doctors, man. They're not helping. Not really. Let's see. So anyway, but yeah, best of luck to you, man. Just, be careful, like I said. Get different opinions, do your own research, because don't trust these fucking doctors. Now, I'm on blood thinners, too. I'm taking warfarin, which is one component of rat poison. And the reason I chose that was, now the only problem is, you have to do an INR every 14 days. You can do it yourself. They'll give you the machine to do it with. Your insurance should cover the stroke. I don't know what they do in Canada. But the only nice about that is if something happens, if you need an emergency operation or something, they could reverse the effects of the blood thinner in seconds by pumping you with vitamin K. It reverses the blood thinner, like immediately. Some of the other stuff, the medications they have, not always possible to reverse the thinning agent, and in an operation you could bleed out. So try not to scare you or anything, just giving you some good information for you to do some research on. So be careful what you take. Let's see. Joe says, Derek, I have a stent. I have 5. 4 or 5. I got 4. 4 stents, 2 heart attacks. And I had the Widowmaker artery was 100% clogged. I don't know why I'm alive, but I'm thankful that I am. So, but it really wasn't a big deal. I mean, not really. Like I said, you're actually awake when they do it, sort of half in, half out, because I don't know why they don't want you completely under. Because the first time I had it done, I did, the anesthesia they gave me in the ambulance knocked me out. And I woke up on the table while they were doing the work, and I was freaking out. I go, oh, hey guys, am I supposed to be awake? No, it's okay, we want you awake. I'm going, you're sure, right? Don't worry, it's cool, you'll be okay, don't worry about it. So I was actually awake for the rest of the operation, which lasted, I think, maybe, it's hard to tell, probably half an hour or so. And then the second time I had it done, I was pretty much awake for the whole thing. The only thing, I did die on the table. I have a pacemaker too. And I don't know what happened, but my heart stopped. I remember blacking out. And I guess I woke up probably a second or two later because the thing worked. It, restarted my heart. It's also a defibrillator. And, the doctors are yelling, Mr. Tedesco, put your leg down. We have to finish the operation. My leg was up in the air swinging around. They had my head on this little metal plate, with a pillow under it. And I guess I knocked the pillow out. And my head was down. I was almost looking at the floor. So I said, you guys got to help me out here, So they got my head back on the plate with the pillow and got my leg down. They finished the operation. But it was the weirdest thing, But I don't think I was dead long enough for anything cool to happen as far as, like seeing the tunnel or any of that other stuff. But it was definitely weird. Edward said the Epson I have uses a ribbon. That's fucking old, man. That would be a typewriter, I'm guessing, right? I actually have a, it's not an Epson, it's a, fuck, I don't even remember now. I have an old style manual typewriter with a ribbon. I had to buy a ribbon for it. I bought it because at the time, I don't remember why, there was a reason I had to buy it, and I couldn't do the work on a computer. It had to be done on a typewriter. I don't remember why, but so I went to basically a thrift shop, found a typewriter for $10. It's ancient, you know, but it works. But it needed a new ribbon, so I bought a ribbon for it, which is amazing what you still get. And good to go. But I haven't touched that thing in, shit, 15 years. I still got it, though. I said, at least it's on my phone. Can someone put it in for me? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Yeah, Johnson, you got to stick around and finish that. Absolutely. Well, the good news is AFib generally doesn't kill you. I guess it could, but it generally doesn't. Yeah, Andy says eat more bananas for the potassium. You know, I take potassium pills. And I take a diuretic because basically I have congestive heart failure. And I retain water around the heart, so I take the water pill. It's like Lasix, but it's a different script. And of course it washes out all the good stuff in your body, like potassium. So I have to take, you know, potassium. I take it as needed. I kind of know when I need it, so. And so far I've been doing good because I do my blood work every 3 months. And my potassium level is around 5.5, 5.3, which is on the high end, but that's good, not dangerous high. So no problem. Same with the vitamin D3. They got me on that too because I'm not really an outdoors person too much. So I was deficient in vitamin D3. Now I'm taking that, and my vitamin D3 levels are right at the top of where they belong. So, but, you know, it is what it is. John says, that's my problem, Anfield. I'm always YouTubing on my phone. Yeah, you know, sometimes I tell you, it's helped me a lot, you know. I mean, when it comes to cars, I don't really need it, but I had to do the intake manifold on my Grand Marquis, and it's plastic, you know, stupid. It's another rant all by itself, but we're not going to go there. But I bought another intake for it. I couldn't even find a metal one. They make a racing one, but it's really, you'd have to do other things to the car to make it work properly, you know, to the engine. I said, well, screw that. I just want to, you know, get it back together and run it. So I looked at it. I kind of figured out it wouldn't be that hard to do, but I figured I'd look at a video anyway. I found several videos and guys going, you know, step by step, removing the cracked one and installing a new one in there. It was helpful, you know. I didn't really need it, but hey, what the hell, you know, just in case there was something there that I wasn't expecting. Now I was prepared. So let's see. Derek says, doctor thinks, should I tell him to take potassium or collect 45,000? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what it. Well, this doctor, he's a specialist, and that's what he does. That's all he does. He does this operation for heart arrhythmia or AFib, and he's making a killing, you know. Now he also does pacemakers, but I got my pacemaker done at the hospital when I had the second heart attack. The cool thing was I did get to look at some of the old ones that, you know, I guess technically they're yours, you know, you paid for it. So when it goes bad, you can take it home with you. But I guess some people didn't want them, so he had some of the ones on his desk. And the last time I saw a pacemaker before my own, my late ex-father-in-law, this is like 40-some years ago, he had a pacemaker. They used to put it in your belly and then run a wire up to your heart. It was real simple. All it did was it kept your your pulse rate, and that was it. They didn't have the defibrillators or the sequence. They didn't have any of that shit. It was a basic. The thing was huge. It was about 5 inches in diameter. Solid, looked like stainless steel or surgical steel, with a wire coming out of it. And I couldn't get that thing apart to save my life. I don't know how they take them. I don't think they're meant to come apart. The old ones weren't. But the battery in it was only, I think, good for 3 years. So every 3 years, he had to go get another pacemaker. And they would always give him his old one. So he gave it to me. He says, "Hey, you ever see a pacemaker?" "Oh, here you go. It's yours." So now they're tiny. As a matter of fact, a straight up pacemaker is about the size of a quarter. Same thickness. It looks almost like a quarter. One wire coming out of it, and they just put it in your chest. Mine's right here. And I can feel it. It's about that big around, and it does the job. But it is what it is. That's that. Not taking that one. Oh, the one that goes in the belly. They don't use them anymore. So the new one. Now this is good for, I think, 7 or 10 years. I think it's 10. Tom Grassi, he's got one. Probably got, well, his is similar to mine. His is, I think, is just a defibrillator and pacemaker. Mine's a pacemaker, defibrillator, and sequencer. So mine actually controls when each valve is supposed to operate in the heart. I was in pretty bad shape with the second heart attack, so, they were talking transplant. I said, "No, not going to happen." They said, "Well, you might die." I said, "Well, then I'll die then, I just don't want somebody else's heart. I just don't, So they were able to fix it. And actually, my heart function's come up from, I think it was 22%. It's at 68% now, which is not bad. So it's actually healing, which is good. And it's been 4 years since that happened. Let's see. John put up a link to something, so you guys check it out. He said he learned a new trick. So all dogs can learn new tricks, right? Okay, that's the link to Anfield Road's Please new link, a video. I want to check that out later. Derek says, "Get a new iWatch and it tells you if you're an AFib. Plus it calls someone if you..." Well, that's pretty cool, but I'm leery about anything Apple products. I won't have an iPhone. I don't want an iWatch. I just don't like the damn things. I don't even like the Android for that matter, but you gotta have something, I guess. James says he doesn't wear a watch. I still have one, just a regular watch, digital. I wear it on occasion, just for fun, because I don't generally take my phone with me anywhere. Phone stays home unless I'm traveling. I'm not attached to that fucking thing. It can stay on my desk right now. It's here in the train room, but only because doing it live. But I'm not a big fan of these phones, so it's fun to wear a watch every now and then. Prior to the smartphones or cell phones in general, I always wore a watch. Guess you can call me old school. Let's see. Eric says, "James, and don't look at the time and set up the alert." Andy said the same thing. "Me neither. James lived by it long enough." There you go. James says, "Derek, you start the campaign, get James an iWatch." I was looking at these like $700, aren't they? I think that's just ridiculous. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not interested in that stuff. I don't know. Let's say jump way ahead here. Edward said that Epson only does low resolution black and white pictures. Yeah, I imagine it does. Hey Dave, BNSF N-Scale, how you doing? Good to see you here. He says bananas are not good for you. I read that somewhere. I don't know if I believe it or not, though. I'm not a big banana fan. Like I said, I take my potassium through a pill, but bananas are one of the highest things you can get for potassium. So, not really sure on that. I don't give too much food advice. Derek says, I have AT&T and they send me offers all the time for iWatch for free. Check your email from your carrier. Call them to see if there's an offer. Dave says, not in Canada, Derek. And I found things aren't really that free anyway. But, what happened here? John wants to know, does anybody use the Samsung watch? I'm always getting offers from T-Mobile for one. Not sure what it all does. I said, I have no desire to have anything like that. You know, the problem I got with all this stuff, it's all spyware. It really is. You know, I don't care whether it's an iPhone or an Android. It's spying on you. You don't believe me? Set your phone on your desk one day and have a casual conversation with yourself or your wife, girlfriend, whatever, and talk about something you'd never be interested in. Just mention it a few times, and I guarantee you the next day, when you turn on your PC or even look at your phone, you will see ads for what you were talking about. Now that ain't coincidence. They're listening to what you're saying. All right? And I've proven it many times. You know. I was talking to my stepdaughter about plugging the tire on her car because she picked up a nail. It's a rental car. Next thing I know, I've got advertisements for tire service all over the place. You know, what the hell? It's ridiculous. Dave says volume discount on iWatch for Shortline Thursday. And I'll pass on that one. Dave says if you have a pacemaker, no CDL. Is that true? I didn't know that. I don't have one anyway, but I used to drive before you needed one. You know, I drove 18-wheeler. All local stuff. I never did over the road, but that was before the CDL came out. I almost got a CDL, but because the company I was working for would have paid for it, all we had was straight trucks, diesel with air brakes. But I wanted to go for a combination, you know, tractor trailer with air brakes and I think it was a couple other things that hazardous materials, whatever. And I talked to a guy who was supposed to loan me his rig so I could get tested. And last minute he ducked out on me. So I said, well, I'm not going to get one if I can't, you know, go all the way with it. I had no plans of ever driving a rig again, but, you know, what the hell? Why not, you know, get the license for it anyway, just in case. I guess they figure you're a liability with a pacemaker. Well, hell, if you got the shot, you know, it's what I'm talking about. You're a bigger liability than if you have a pacemaker. You can drop dead at any time. Well, I don't know. All right, Lee, have a good one. Thanks for popping in. We'll see you next time. Have a good weekend, and remember to play with your trains. There's John Nippenberg. I just checked the latest Galaxy watch. It has heart rate, but not AFib detection. They supposedly has one that monitors your blood sugar too. But, and I have to check my blood sugar 4 times a day. It's a pain in the ass. Well, pain in the finger, actually. And I would consider one if I knew it really worked, but I haven't read any good reviews on those things, so regarding the blood sugar checking. Dave says a diet will help you heal. Yeah, I'm sure it does. No doubt about that. And it jumped on me again. I think, well, one of them do, but I, the reviews they said that I read, they said they were highly inaccurate. You know what? I don't need that shit if it's inaccurate. Like you said, it's a pain in the ass to prick your finger all the time, but you do it. I've been doing it since '07. Yeah, that's quite a few years. What, almost 15 years? I'm so used to it, I don't even notice it. And I don't really even have feeling I've done it so many times. I think I don't have any feeling in my fingers anymore. So I don't even feel it do it. It's no biggie. Well, you are correct, Dave. There are other foods. I don't remember what they are, but traditionally, though, they always considered a banana was a quick potassium fix, basically. But you are correct. There are other foods that are higher in potassium. That's probably good advice there, John. Never talk about your girlfriend in front of your wife. AFib will be the least of your problems. James says Derek getting a high resolution CAT scan soon. I've had that done already a couple of times. That's what they did that when I had the stroke. Tom says, so if I say I need a sock, they will send me a horror list of local. I think there are limits to what they actually listen to, what they'll do for you. Although, if there's legal call girls in your area, I would probably think that somewhere along the line that would pop up because that's considered legal. The call girl part, anyway. I mean, or what they don't call them call girls now. What do they call them? Can't remember what the hell they call them, but and the words on the tip of my tongue, I can't remember it. Yeah, I wish the thing would quit jumping like this. All right, John, well, have a good one, man. Thanks for popping in, and we'll see you next time. Tom Gray said, when I drove for FedEx, I had a hazmat CDL license. Really? Yeah, I imagine he'd probably be necessary. And he said, I had a pacemaker then, too. Yeah, I think you've had one longer than I had mine. I said, mine's going on 4 years now. Matter of fact, next month, I have to go down to Naples, and they're going to do a pacemaker check on me. It's all wireless. They use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or something. They throw this dongle around your neck, and they can control the pacemaker, read off everything. It's really cool the way they do it. So, but John, that's a great way to avoid wearing a frying pan for a hat. That's true. Don't talk about your girlfriend to your wife. Not a good idea. And Edward said, don't talk about your wife in front of your girlfriend either. I don't know, that's probably a little more acceptable than the other way around. Hey, Steve87, how you doing? I shipped out your stuff, your winnings. I don't know if you got it yet. I think you're getting it on this. Maybe it was the 13th hour. I also emailed you the tracking number, but it's on the way, so I didn't forget you. Anyway, I'm glad to see you here, and we were talking about all kinds of bullshit as usual. Let's see. Derek said, raisins, apricot, sweet potato all have more potassium than a banana. Huh. I said, I knew there were other foods. I wasn't sure what they were. Like I said, I was pissed off because I could have raised my potassium levels at the time, and the AFib probably would have went away. Because they claim that you reach a certain age, almost everybody gets AFib. Well, that's probably because almost everybody's potassium deficient as they get older. Especially if you're on a water, diuretic, or I don't know if a blood thinner would cause problems, and it might. So, and, these doctors, I still have my tonsils, okay? I'm 64 years old, still got my tonsils. I've had tonsillitis twice. And the doctors wanted to pull them out twice. And I said, no, we're going to leave them in there because I don't believe in extra parts. All right? And I said, well, let's try antibiotics. So they gave in to me. I was surprised. One put up a fuss about it. I said, you're not taking them out, so just give me that antibiotic. If it don't work, I'll come back, you'll take them out. But I said, we're going to do the antibiotics first. Well, both times the antibiotics cured it. Years later, I found out that they knew this from day one. Okay? That except in really extreme cases, which are rare, you can cure tonsillitis with an antibiotic. They knew that, but it was so much, they made so much money doing tonsillectomies. It was a routine operation. Every kid in the country practically got their tonsils out. First time I had the problem, I think I was 16 or 17, and then in my 20s the second time. But my kids, both my daughters got tonsillitis. And I think they were 5 and 6 respectively. And said, "Oh, we got to pull them out." "No, you don't got to pull them out. You give them an antibiotic." "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I had tonsillitis. I took antibiotics. Problem solved. I still got my tonsils." Turns out your tonsils serve a very important function in your body. They're an early warning sign for throat cancer. So if you get throat cancer, your tonsils will let your body know there's a problem in there. Without it, by the time they figure out you got throat cancer, you're damn near dead. Well, like I said, they knew this from day one. Taking your tonsils out was stupid, but it was quick money, and they jumped on it. I don't trust doctors. It's all about the money. Now, I had my gallbladder taken. I didn't have a choice. It went bad, and I was in a lot of pain. But I wasn't aware of any way to fix it. I just had a stone stuck in it or something, gallstone. And rather than remove the stone, which they probably could have done, just rip that puppy out of there, And I haven't had any real big problems without it. But if they tell you it will not make a difference, you won't notice it, they're fucking lying to you. At least in my case, anyway. Yeah, maybe, but if the readings are not consistently inaccurate, that could cause a problem. Let's say you've shown that you're, say, 300, okay? So you would take enough insulin to reduce that 300 down to a good level. But if it's off by, say, 100, and you're really at 200, and you've taken enough insulin for 300, you're going to start crashing. And unless you're diabetic, you probably wouldn't know this, but it really is important. For accuracy is very important. It has to be consistently accurate. Or even consistently inaccurate, that'd be okay. If you knew it was 50 points off all the time, yes, you can work around that. But if it's 50 this time, or 100 that time, or 60 that time, or 20 this time, you're taking a lot of chances, And trust me, diabetic coma is not a fun thing, I'm sure. Never been in one, but don't want to be either. Man, I hate when this thing jumps like that. Why does it do that? It jumped a lot. Alrighty. Derek, what about beer? In moderation, beer is fine. Same with sex. Derek says, "Thomas, if you get that list, I'm moving in with you." And Dave says, "Old women who want sex." This is funny, them around. And Andy says, "Dave, N scale is a bit like Australia. Everyone knows where it is, but nobody wants to go there." That's not true. Dave says, I think it's the pacemaker with the defibrillator. That's what I have. Like I said, mine's a 3-in-1. Pacemaker, defibrillator, and sequencer. Hey, Floyd Robbins, how you doing? Good to see you here. Says you can only talk about your wife in front of your girlfriend if it's all bad. That's true. Yeah, don't say anything good about your wife in front of your girlfriend. Don't piss her off. There, says even broccoli has more potassium than a banana, and that's green. Yeah, if you like broccoli, but I don't eat broccoli. I'm a very picky eater. Dave says, I take vitamin D, K, and magnesium supplements. Yeah, I take the magnesium too. I can't take the K because the K reverses the blood thinner. So K's out of the question. But the D I take a D complex and magnesium. Shit, I can't remember what it is now. There's several different types of magnesium. I take the more common one. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? MH&E Railroad. I still have a hard time associating you with that channel name. That's your own fault, though. Andy says, tastes like dung, Derek. How would you know, Andy? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Boy, says, I heard on the Train Freaks noontime show that you felt under the weather. Yeah, that sucks. Dave says broccoli isn't that bad. Now, if you like it, it's fine, but I don't like it. Derek says, yes, unless it's cooked right with a ton of garlic. Yeah, I would probably need a whole bunch of garlic. Steve says, I still have my tonsils. Oh, good for you. You're in the same club I'm in. There are a lot of guys like our age that have their tonsils. A lot of people had them taken out, you know. Not me. I don't believe in extra parts. Like I said, I didn't even like losing my gallbladder, but I really didn't have a choice. And he says, a bad cold, I think, if it was the flu, I'd be on my back. Yeah, flu's not fun. And Thomas says, Jim, I'll send out your railroad spike tomorrow. Okay, that's cool. You need my address. What do you do, lose it? I think I still have yours. If I have your email address, I'll send it to you by email. Damn, it jumped again. I hate when that happens. Dave says unnecessary surgeries. Doctors should be subjected. Yeah, they should. And Thomas says, John, did you send out my railroad spike? Floyd says, feel better, Andy? Definitely. Dave says, more sex, less beer. No argument there, man. Hey, sex is very healthy for you, actually. There says, my brother-in-law has that meter on your arm, and it's really accurate. It gives you the direction that your blood sugar is headed in the morning. That's cool. Thomas says, drink heavy, sleep late. John says, hey, Thomas, not yet. Haven't been in the post office. Probably next week. I'll email the tracking number when I do. There you go. All right, Ed, have a good one, man. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time. Have a good weekend, and get some rest, man. John says, I hope you can tell what it is. I found it on the NS by Vulcan Yards in Alexandria. Okay. Oh, the spike? Okay. Tom Gray says, I eat broccoli and banana, and I'm still alive. I imagine you would be, cop. No reason why you would. Damn, it jumped on me again. I wish it. Man, this thing drives me nuts. Rich Strange, not to talk politics. Biden is getting ready for his press conference. There's a lot of talk that he may resign, or not necessarily resign, but not run for 24. He was going to drop out of the race. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I don't believe anything until I actually see or hear it. We'll have to see. I mean, if he drops out, Kamala Harris is going to take his place, unless the Democrats really finagle something. But by law, or their rules or whatever, she's the next up. So, and I mean, Trump is going to beat no matter who they put in there anyway. And he'll take Biden out easily, and he'll take out Harris out easily too. So, I think at this point it doesn't matter what the Democrats do, they're screwed. Just my opinion, though. Tom says, I've got my tunnel. Damn, you're part of the club too. That's 3 of us so far. Still have our tonsils. That's pretty cool. Hey, 187, HO scale, steel mill modeling. How's it going? Good to see you here. Rick, that should be amusing. No teleprompter. How do we know? I don't know if there'll be. I'm sure there will be. Like I said, I think they probably got something in his ear. Maybe they implanted something in his brain, and somebody's talking to him because. Yeah, it's funny. During the debate, it seemed like there was always a pause before he'd answer the question. Like he was waiting for somebody to give him the answer, I don't know. I mean, I don't know for sure one way or the other, but it just seems a little suspicious. James says, I don't have my tonsils, lost them at 4. Yeah, well, like I said, back in that day, that was you gotta have them pull them out, Every doctor on the planet was pulling out tonsils, even though they knew they didn't need to. But hey, it's easy money, And 187 says, what you guys working on tonight? Well, I was talking about some of the stuff I've done. Doing more work on the elevated rail. You can see some of it here. You can see up on the top there, the elevated rail section in the green. And there's more of it here. You see the girder on top of the bridge. I'm slowly working my way around. And like I said, now that I've got the ramp out of there, I've got to clean all that up yet, but those plastic things, you see the silver, those are the braces for the second level. I'm currently printing them. And let me see, go back here. This one just finished printing. So I bought all the wood, as I said earlier, a couple days ago. And tomorrow I'm going to start putting together the wood. And I hope to have the second level framework finished by midweek. I can't do the plywood or the foam until next month. Basically ran out of money. But I want to get it up anyway, and then I'll continue on with the elevated rail. And well, I may have to stop where I'm at though, because on this right hand side here, change cameras, can't see too much because everything's in the way. But right, and from there back, that's all open there, and I'm going to put a highway in and background buildings. So I'm probably going to have to do that before I put the elevated rail in, because it'll kind of be in my way. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, it's all step by step. And John says, Rick, you'll get more entertainment watching an ice cube melt. Okay. Yeah, you might be right there, right? Who knows? He's waiting for the voices in his head to come through the warbuds. I don't know. Like I said, there's some stuff going in there, you know. Actually, earbuds, sorry. You might be right. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. But there's definitely something up with it. And then at last I heard, oh, no, I didn't tear out the nudist resort. It's still there. I don't think the camera's aimed at it right now. Because I'm moving around the cameras a little bit to show you what I got to do. But no, it's still there in the corner. You can see it right about there. See where my finger is? That's the nudist colony. Or the nude beach, as I call it. Doodle Lake. Gotta have that. You know, they'll never lose that. So, hey, what the hell was I gonna say? Shit, I forgot. Oh yeah. Supposedly, the Democrats are secretly doing voter registration to all the illegals, or some of them. They're thinking 10 million illegals are going to be voting, which is bullshit because they're not allowed to. But don't be surprised if they do anyway. But if everybody votes for Trump, it won't matter. So because half the Democrats are going to vote for Trump because they're fed up with Biden and the Democratic Party all the ways around anyway. Heath would miss it. What would he miss? Oh, yeah, he would. Because, you know, he's hiding behind a tree there, snapping pictures. I'm surprised you remembered that. It's funny. You know, I haven't been out on the railroad tracks to look, Thomas. I'll take a peek and see if there's anything out there. You know, they just redid a lot of stuff, so I did notice that they did clean up a lot of the old stuff, like all the wood and whatever they're called. They took all that out. I bet they took most of the old spikes out too. I might be able to find one. You never know. It'd be nice if I could find a new one. That would be cool. Like I said, the ties. You know, they put new ties in, new rails. Just a short section. I think like 50 or 60 yards maybe. And, you know, new spikes. So they redid that whole area there, and even redid the crossing, the road. They got the metal, or I don't think they're metal. There's some sort of material though that looks like rubber on each side of the rail, so that when you go over it, you don't bump, you know, the car. I'll have to look. I haven't been out there in a while. I'll check it out. 187 says soldering Sheepscott 100-foot brass boom tonight. Okay, cool. Sounds like work. There says no credentials except married to Barack and all the covers. Are you talking about Big Mike? Yeah, that's a guy. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, and to prove it, there was actually a video the other day on YouTube. It was a fact check video claiming that all the rumors and the pictures of Michelle with a, you know, they all were faked. And I'm going, yeah, bullshit. Well, all of a sudden you're making a big issue out of it because you plan on running her. You know, she has zero chance of beating Trump. Grace is right next to the Shake Shack, Jim Sugar Shack. There you go. All right, Andy, have a good one, man. Take it easy. I think I already said goodbye, but did it again. Meanwhile, the hottest first lady we've ever seen, ever had, we've ever had. It wasn't on it. Yeah, I know. It's just, they badmouth Melania all the time. I don't know why. She's a good-looking woman, you know. I think I don't know what the fuck their problem is. To be honest with you. Thomas says, "Please find me a new one." Oh, he said, I'll take a look. You know, when I get a chance, I'll go out there and root around a little bit. John says it's the rewriting of history, Derek. Yeah. There's a lot of rewriting going on now. You know what the hell is true and what isn't anymore. Tom says, "Hey everyone, if you have time, my latest video is on track cleaning." Oh, cool. Thanks for the link, man. The last one I saw was when you were testing that one locomotive on the Helix. So I'm guessing this is a new one after that. Rick wants to know, Jim, can you print figures? I need a dozen girls. Yeah, actually I can. You know, I have to find the files, but they're out there, and yes, I can print them. You have anything in particular? Are you looking for nudes, or? I mean, I could print one. Well, no, I can't print what I got, but I'm sure I could find some stuff. Though, just give me a clue on what you're actually looking for. Oh, you want nudes? Okay. There's a few out there I believe I saw files for. Tom says, Jim, I have a female. Oh, I have a female STL file. Is she nude? But I'll take the file anyway because I got to print people in general. So, but I'm pretty sure I could find some nudes for you there, Rick. Unless I just got a special alert, Joe Obama was. Double D's, well, I don't know about that. I wish I had a damn scanner, you know. Probably scan some Barbies or something, man. What the hell? Dwayne says he'll watch your video tomorrow, Tom. Okay. Tom says, Jim, yes, to let you on the Sperry Rail track tester engine going to visit Joe Rader. He and I are going to take a look. Oh, cool. That's cool. I really wish I lived closer to you guys because I'd be visiting everybody. But like I said, I'm down here in the asshole of the country. Nobody's close by. I mean, the only guys around here really are Tom Kavicek from Tom's Trains and Things and Curtis from C&L Lines. You know, I could visit both of them because they're close, but pretty much everybody else is, you know, pretty far away. It sucks, but it is what it is. So, when's my print coming anyway? I keep starting that thing. I have this little gadget here. It's actually, you're supposed to mount it on the carrier there, and it's supposed to stabilize the ribbon. Because the first one I had, the ribbon broke on it from going back and forth, you know, stress braking. So this guy invented something, well, he designed something like this you can print, but the one he did is really bulky. So I trimmed it down, and I want to try it out because I think it'll work better than his design. But it really does come in handy, though. Matter of fact, Tom, if you want one, let me know. I'll send you the STL for it. I think it'll work better than the one that you originally got. Same one I had. Should be living the penis of the country. Penis, asshole, it's all the same, man. You know. Oh, you took yours off? Okay. I took mine off too. Well, I had to change the hot end. And, let's see there. Yeah, I put a new hot end on the other one. And I had to take it all apart anyway, and I just thought, you know what? I didn't like the way it was designed, so I took it off. But I still think that this does help keep the cable from snapping. Because the first one I had, like I said, well, didn't you have the same problem where the cable broke? If it breaks there where it plugs in, that's because of the wiggle going back and forth. And that's what this is supposed to prevent. I mean, really, if they put thicker wires on the damn thing, it wouldn't have been a problem. I did her like 30 gauge, 28, 30. Once again, designed to screw up. There says, it looks like you're using a teleprompter, looking in the normal two places before he speaks. I'm sure he is. I hate to badmouth him, but the truth is, he really is gone, And I don't think he can actually produce a sentence on his own. Not a coherent one, anyway. Does that make Texas the balls? It could. That's funny. Maybe true, I don't know. Maybe they gave Joe Obama a little blue pill. They're giving him something. I mean, I've read that they are drugging him up. They freely admit that they're giving him ADD medicine. The shit they give to the kids. What's it called? Big ball. So they're giving him that. And I'm sure they're giving him something else too. Because I said at the debate, he lit up near the end there, man, like somebody juiced him or something. And a friend of mine down in Naples, he said he heard somewhere that he had a remote operated IV under his shirt, probably behind him, and a needle going in somewhere into him, and somebody could remotely inject him with something that would wake him up. And damn, if it didn't look like it, that's what happened. So I don't know. No, you gave me those files when I first got my Viper, and I had mine on since then. Okay. James says, so Canada's the rare hand. Could be. 187 says Biden's still a pedophile. Can't sure that's true, you can't. Well, supposedly, and I read this too, that some years ago, he got caught with a kid, and to keep him out of prison, he did some experimental brain surgery. And they supposedly did something that was supposed to take away the pedophilia instinct. Well, it didn't work, obviously. But, who the hell knows? The guy's a whack job. Anybody that messes with a kid, you know what I think should be done with him. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Raymond Anthony, 127. Hey, Ray, how's it going? Good to see you here. I know, you got here just the right time. Hair sniffing leads to senility. Could be. Especially if it's dyed. Derek says they made a manga way out. I would not be surprised. There you go. James says, I guess Sparta does all the pissing around. There's some truth to that there, James, for sure. Like I said, it's just one thing after another. But, so yeah, I've been busy printing stuff and getting ready for... I hope to have the trains running again soon. I got it. Once I get the tip up put back in, then I can run trains again. That's the only thing keeping me from running anything. So maybe for next Thursday, might even see trains running. Who knows? Hopefully, anyway. Tom says, if anyone tells you they can fix the brain, they're lying to you. No one understands. That's true. They really know. They've been screwing around. They've got Einstein's brain. There's 3 pieces. They sectioned it, and 3 universities have it. I think MIT is one, and I can't remember who the other 2 are, but they still haven't fucking figured out why he's a genius. Because you're not meant to find out, Could you imagine if they could find out and synthesize it or do some weird surgery to make everybody geniuses? It'd be a mess. Biden for retirement 2024. Hey, you got that right. James says, Thomas, you can't fix stupid. No, you can't. Well, you can, but it's not legal. That's the problem. Yeah, that's what the rumor says, Joe, that they're going to replace him at the convention. It's risky. I don't technically know how they're going to do it. Now, I don't know if they've got a way to control him or not, but you've probably seen some of his press conferences where, I'm not giving up. I beat Trump once and I'm going to beat him again in 2020. He even had the year wrong. I mean, he did beat him in 2020, but he thought he was going to beat him next, 24. Can't get the dates right, but if he refuses to step down, there's only 2 choices. They're either going to have to, end him, or they're going to have to pull the 25th on him. But if they do the 25th Amendment on him, Kamala takes over, and there ain't a damn thing they can do about it. And she has 0 chance of beating Trump. So I don't know what the hell they're going to do, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting. We'll just have to watch and see. When voting's in November 7th, so it's not too far away. What, 4 months? So we'll see. There says, here sniffing full. Talking about a 12-year-old, he said, wow, she's beautiful, and those barrettes make her look like she's 16. Sniff. He's a sick bastard. I don't care what anybody says, And I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would. I just don't, Oh, yeah, that's true. We all heard that one, too. He made history. He was the first black female vice president. The guy's whack. Well, he thought Kamala was the president. I think some time back he referred to her as President Kamala Harris. So he's out there, man. What he says, organoids. Jim, have you researched a computer that can't be turned off? No, I'm not aware of that. Although, I think all the supercomputers are like that, though, aren't they? That you can't actually turn them off, which is stupid. Same thing with robots. Let's build a robot that you can't kill, and you can't turn it off. First thing I'd put on that is the master kill switch on it, and have it remote as well as physical on the robot itself. So, as a backup, a redundancy circuit. But for some reason, we put so much faith in machines, and they're going to be the death of us yet. You watch. If Biden gets reelected, prepare for Armageddon. Yeah, or worse. And 200,000 can only go to. Yeah, that's true. Nobody else can use it. So, like I said, that's another issue too. But remember, we're dealing with Democrats here. Don't think for a minute they won't break their own rules. Even though the rules and I guess the law or something states that no one can touch that money except him or Kamala. So who knows? Remember, they couldn't arrest Trump either for that supposed rape of E. Jean Carroll, but they changed the law in New York. They moved the statute of limitations to put him back in line where he could get arrested for it. Don't put it past the Democrats to do whatever they want to do, because they will. Yeah, I know. I've heard that one too. Gerald says, I bet a Claymore will turn it off. Well, hopefully. That's what I'm saying. You know, why in the hell would you build something, you know, like the Terminator? The Terminator was virtually indestructible. You know, no off switch, couldn't kill it. What the fuck were they thinking, you know? Derek said there's no way in hell that even if he practiced his speech for a year, he could remember. Oh, that's true, he couldn't. That's why I think somebody's talking to him, you know, and that would explain the pauses before he makes a statement or answers a question. And even then, he'll still screw it up, so it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you're looking at the teleprompter and literally telling you what to say, and he still screws it up. You know, not good. When he says, no, this is much worse than AI, research organoids. I'll check that out, man. I've never heard of it before now. Sounds a little scary, though. James says, Derek, I don't understand U.S. politics, but we have a bunch of idiots up here. We got them here, too, James. They're everywhere. Like, that's like prerequisite for politicking. You know, you want to be a politician? Are you a jackass or an idiot or a moron? Oh, okay, you're all the above. Good, you're hired. Come on down. You know, that's really, it seems like it, doesn't it? Normal thinking, logical people never get into politics for some reason. I don't think they're allowed to. And James said, you do understand U.S. politics. Pretty much. Derek, we are in, yeah, technically. Last I heard, I don't know that much about Canada, but rumor has it in some areas here that they're going to try and kick your president. I can't remember his name now, but he's a communist, basically. You know. And he probably really is Castro's illegitimate son. I wouldn't doubt it. Sure does act like him. He's a fucking faggot anyway. Yeah, the Titanic. Yeah, that's a bad boat to be in. And when he says, we the people don't need government to tell us. That's true, we really don't. Yeah, Trudeau. I couldn't remember his name for a minute there. They said he's about as gay as you can get anyway. But at least he looks that way. But that's true though. The government, if the government stuck to doing its actual job, which is securing the borders and making sure everybody did things by the Constitution and nothing else, we would be flourishing as a nation, as a civilization, you know. But they want to get in everything. Here, the latest one with the cars. They, well, there's a new mandate as far as, I think they said by 2028 or 2029. They want all the new cars to have kill switches, you know, to be remotely controlled. There'll be semi-autonomous, in other words, automatic braking, automatic lane change. They'll have built-in DUI sniffers, so you won't be able to start the car. They'll have cameras in there that will do facial recognition on you, the driver, probably all the passengers too. It's not a car anymore. It's basically, it's like walking into a spy den, you know? And all I can say is don't buy any new cars when that happens. And they're already getting bad. In England, I think it is, or somewhere in Europe, I think it's England, they just mandated speed limiters. So when you're going down the road, say the speed limit's 30 kilometers an hour. If you try and go over that, the car won't let you. And if you find a way to bypass it, you automatically be ticketed, even though no cops are around. Fuck that shit, man, you know? And you know, if they do it there, they're going to try and do it here, too. Tell you, they want total control over everything and everyone. And we need to not let them have it. James says, all I know is support our veterans. Absolutely. We need to start taking better care of our veterans, too. I think what this country is doing to its to its veterans is bullshit, you know. There said the moron just did the whispering thing. I haven't. I'm surprised actually, but I imagine they'll start popping up here too. Hey, Otter Creek in Rio Grande, how's it going, Dennis? Good to see you. Just popping in before I have to go mow the yard. I did that the other day, man. I got a riding mower. It's not a big deal, but sometimes it's just a pain in the ass, you know. Mostly for the heat. I would rather do it in the rain, to be honest with you, but that's not a good idea either. James says, Joe, we we get a different version. Yeah, I'll bet. Holy shit, 9 lots. That's a lot of land, man. Hey, Train Man 1, how's it going? Good to see you. He says, I play a little golf sometimes, never hit a hole in one, but I did hit a guy one time, and it was glorious. That's funny, Mickey. It really is. That's what would happen if I cannot drive the ball to save my life. I mean, it's either going to go here, there, so it's going to go somewhere. If I get on the green, if I can actually make it to the green, you know, I'm good at putting. I can put the damn thing in the hole from the green, but when it comes to driving the ball, don't be anywhere near me when I'm doing it because I'm dangerous. Chief Broken Brain, hey, what's going on, man? I love that handle. That is so cool. Chief Broken Brain. All right, how did you come up with that one? That's too cool. Yeah, I was kind of forced to play golf when I worked on the golf course as a equipment manager. My boss says, you know, he said, we got clubs you can use anytime. He says, you know, we really encourage all our employees to go play every now and then. I said, I don't know, man, I'm pretty bad, you know. So I did. I went out there a few times, and I said, once I get on the green, I'm fine. But getting there, I'm going to be like fucking 20 over par, you know, by the time I get to the green. So it is what it is, though, but. He said that was the name. That was the nickname I gave my sponsor whenever I got sober in 1998. Well, congratulations on your sobriety, but it's still a weird name to come up with. It's a good one, though. I think it's cool. All right, 187. Take it easy, man, and thanks for popping in, and have a good and safe weekend. We'll see you next time. So. Where the hell was I anyway? No, I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to be printing up more of these trucks, I think. I got some modern rigs too. So these are a little older. These are probably from the, I'd say probably the 60s. You tell they're old. But I've got some modern ones like, you know, 2000 and up. And I'm going to try printing them out. I haven't had a chance yet. I gave the file to Crooked Dave. He said he printed them and they came out really nice. He liked them. So I think I want to print some of them up too. But this propane trailer, this came out really nice. He said, I got to paint it yet. But it's not bad at all. It's actually pretty highly detailed. All the valves and stuff down there. And I'm really impressed. I had to buy this file. I couldn't find any free ones. Plenty of, you know, oil tankers and stuff like that, but nobody had propane tanks. And so I have a propane company here on the layout. So I've got the small propane tank trucks, the delivery trucks. This was the first one I made. This was ready gas propane. This is built on a 1.5 deuce. At the time, that was the only truck I had. Then I made this one here. Oh, not that one. Here's the newest one I got. Oh, this one here. I just printed this one. I took the same model truck, but I made a smaller tank for it. That's actually more realistic for what's out on the road today. I have a gas stove here, so I get gas deliveries about every 3 or 4 months. And this is pretty much what the truck looks like that comes and delivers my gas. So I also have this now that I can print out for anybody who wants it. And like I said earlier, I have 500-gallon commercial propane tanks. These are nice. And I have 250-gallon residential ones. So if anybody's interested in any of this stuff, let me know. I can print it for you. Well, yeah, the thing is this was printed in the resin printer. And I didn't make the file, somebody else did. So I think they ironed out all those problems. Now, I tried resin printing a tanker for the train car. And I still had the lines. They weren't quite as bad, but they were still there. So I think I'm going to stick with using the PVC drain pipe, the sink drains, which is the right diameter. And as a matter of fact, I have one. I don't have access to it right now, but I built the syrup tanker and used 1.25 inch PVC drain pipe. Printed the caps. The caps came out fine. And the lid and everything, I was all separately put on. And it came out really nice. I was pretty good, pretty impressed with it. The problem I got with the resin printer is there's only so much. It's not the Anycubic I have, the Photon 2. It has a slightly bigger build plate than my Creality, how it does. But it's still a small build plate. So, like I said, I actually shorten this by about 10 millimeters. And in relation, this is a bought, I didn't print this, I bought this gasoline tanker. And let me see how I can do this. These sizes, well, actually this one's pretty damn close. This one's probably about 4 millimeters shorter. It's about 10 millimeters shorter than the fuel tanker. But it's still close enough you really can't tell. But this is the absolute maximum I could do on the build plate. And I had to do a diagonal build on it. I couldn't put it straight across because the build plate's only, I think, like this wide. And I have no plans on buying a bigger printer. So I'm fine with this. It's good size is fine. Like even if I wanted to do, say, one of these, I actually did print one of these. Let's see if I can get at it. Yeah. Actually, I think I did this. Well, I did this on the filament printer. And the wheel sets, the axles, I printed on the resin printer and glued them in place. But I can't even do one this size. This is a normal, I think, what, 53 foot or somewhere around there? Maybe 40 foot? I'm not sure. But this won't fit on the build plate. And even if I angled it, it's still too wide and the corners would hang off. So Like I said, I'm kind of limited to the printer I have, but I can do the trailer. And I even built a reefer unit for it. I designed that myself. And it came out fine. I mean, it's good enough, you know. So I'm getting better at building some of these things. Like I said, some things I can do with the filament printer. Other things that are highly detailed have to be done on a resin printer. That's just the way it is. How long is a 10,000 gallon tank car compared to the tank on top? Well, that's easy enough. This is a 10,000 gallon tanker that I printed. This is the one with the lines in it. But this is the old design. I could do another one. So actually they're about the same length. Pretty close. Probably about, no, this might be 10 millimeters longer. Now I could do this in the resin printer without the end cap. But like I said, it makes more sense to use a $2 drain pipe. You cut it to the right length. It's the same diameter. Print the end caps in the resin printer so there's no lines on those. And assemble it and you're ready to go. Same thing with like I printed this cap, this top here, and the framework. All this stuff I designed, you know. So I'm getting better at it, but there's a lot you can do. You have to just use some unconventional ideas in some cases. All right, Joe, have a good one, man. Thanks for popping in. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Ray says that's just the way it is. Some things will never change. Yeah, it could be. Oh, thanks, John. I appreciate that. Sweet propane truck. It did come out nice. I was really impressed with it. The first two that I made, I didn't have enough supports under it, and the fenders were sagging. So I had to add more supports onto it, and that solved that problem. And now I've got good, clean lines on the fenders and stuff, so. And like I said, I bought that file. I paid, it was $2.80, something like that, on CG Trader. And like I said, and there were errors in it, you know, because anytime I get an STL file, I run it through the checker. I've got a program that checks it. Tom knows what it is, Tom Grassi. And there were errors, and I had to correct them, you know, and it did. So that's almost a given on anything you buy nowadays, file-wise. I don't know why they don't scan them and run them through the process to begin with before they offer them up for sale. I know I would. But, you know, as long as you know this, it's not a big deal. No, I need a bigger printer for that. Tom Grassi could, because he's got the 8K one. I think that's an Anycubic too, but he has a much larger build plate on his. He could do it. But me, like I said, I'm limited to what I've been able to do here, and I think it's 100 millimeters maybe is about the longest they can go. No, actually it's about 130 millimeters in length is as long as I can go on it. Even if I stood it up on end, the height isn't much better than the width. So I'm kind of limited to what I can do, but that's just the way it is. Believe it or not, you can't print a resin printer, but you can print a filament printer, except for the motors, you know. But you can build the frame, you can print the frame, all the supports and all that stuff, but you'd have to of course, get a hot end and not servos, but the motors, and wiring and all that stuff. I think I saw a plan, an STL file. I think it was on Thingiverse. It might have been, I don't remember, but I saw a plan to build a 3D printer. Yeah, so yeah, it can, you know. Can I print what? uh, it doesn't show pictures on here, so you'd have to show me a picture that I could tell you if I can print it or not. Ray says, the only thing I know about golf is a wonderful walk in the park spoiled by a little white ball. Taggers are looking great. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I personally think it's a dumb game myself, but probably because I'm just really not any good at it, you know. If I were any good at it, maybe I'd have a different attitude, but, you know, before I had the stroke, bowling was my game, and I was pretty good at it. Never hit a perfect 300, but I think my average was around 210, 220, you know. I wasn't great, but I wasn't bad either. So that's how we ended up with 2 printers. Not quite. I still don't know what you're referring to. Next thing you know, railroads are printing their own freight cars. Well, actually, they have the metal 3D printers now. I think they do aluminum or aluminum alloy. And I mean, they're very expensive. I couldn't afford one. But I suppose if you had a big enough one, you could theoretically print components for trains, cars, whatever. I know some of the car parts now are being 3D printed on some of the exotic cars, like Maseratis and Lamborghinis and such. I don't know what parts are being made, but I've heard that some parts are actually being 3D printed, you know. Yeah, I kind of figured you were there, Dwight. Right, so soon we'll be printing our own tires and car parts. I don't know about tires, but there's certain car parts you probably could. But like I said, you know, plastic stuff you can do. Like if you wanted a center console, you could design and print one. You'd have to do it in pieces, of course, you know, but it's not that hard to do. I mean, it can be done. It would take forever, you know. That's that. Ray says, Peeps ask if I want to play cricket. I say no, the play past my bedtime. Okay, that's weird. There says, Dwight, I can print this, but I can't print that. I do need a bunch of corn stock. Send me an email. Tell me how much of an area you want. I'll figure it out. I'll work up a price for you. We'll do it. What the hell? Trackside Mike. How's it going, Mike? Good to see you here, man. So, I mean, you know, like you said, I'm getting better at printing a lot of stuff, and I want to print things that are really hard to find, you know. And like some of the prices they got on this stuff, like I was on Turbo Squid, which is a 3D channel or store, I guess. They have propane trucks, so I'm no different than this one. I got one at $99 for the file. I'm thinking, are you stupid? You know, I know, and I give you $100 basically for a file. You know, for that money, you gotta print 5 or 6 of them for me, you know. But it's ridiculous. So some of these guys really think that their stuff is gold, and it really isn't. Right, it says 3D printed cakes are right around the corner. I believe they already have those, I think. I know they can 3D print food. And they're 3D printing houses now, too. You could actually get a 3D printed house. It's probably not much cheaper than a regular house. Might even be more expensive. But they do have them. And it's not real. I mean, it's sort of the same. It's basically a computer-operated arm that goes around and lays a bead of cement and keeps building it up and building it up until you actually get a house. I don't know. I think you're getting a little crazy with that shit, to be honest with you. Yeah, 3D concrete printer. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They make houses with them. They claim that the houses are stronger than conventional cinder block or even poured concrete, so I don't know. It might be. There's 113, baby. I'm literally setting 2 foot from the air conditioner. It's 113 outside. Holy shit. Well, we've seen it was. I've seen that in Naples some years back. You know, in the shade. And the other day it was 108 here. It's not really that unusual, but it's. I think they're finally starting to tell the truth about the temperature. But they're utilizing it so they can push the climate change bullshit. You know. They said back in Naples about 20 years ago, thereabouts. And it was 113 degrees in the shade. And I turned on the TV news and they said it was 99. You're wearing your fucking refrigerator? You know. But they did that because they were afraid it would scare away the tourists. You know. People knew it was 113 outside. They said, fuck Florida. We'll go somewhere else where it's a little cooler. You know. So they lie about shit all the time. It's nothing new. Derek says, is a resin printer more expensive for the same quality? Does something you print cost more on the resin printer than on? It could. It really depends. I mean, the resin's not that expensive. I just bought 1,000 grams of it. And I can't see it from here, but can we see it on the other? Let me grab one. This is 1,000 grams right here. Foot stuck. And you can do quite a bit of printing with this. Now this is, I paid $18.99 for 19 bucks. That's the tax and free shipping from Amazon. And this is the Creality brand. They do make some cheaper stuff. I haven't found it yet. The Sun Lu, I bought clear. That was only $13.99 for 1,000 grams. And it works just as good. I don't think it matters what brand you use, but the Creality is actually cheaper than the Anycubic, believe it or not. And I use the Creality in both the Anycubic and the Hallett, so it doesn't matter. So, in comparison, a spool of filament, well, I buy that bulk too. I bought 5 rolls. I think they're 1 kilogram each. 2 kilograms, I don't remember, but they're pretty big. I could print a whole lot of stuff with that too. And a spool of that, if I buy 5 at a time, I get 5 for 70 bucks. So you're looking at what, $13, $14 a spool? So it's probably, there's probably no real big difference between filament and resin. But the thing with the resin is you can do more detailed stuff with it. You know, like I said, you can print, well, you look at the details just even on this truck. You're not going to get this kind of detail on a filament printer. But for bigger stuff that doesn't have a lot of detail on it, filament's the way to go. Like I said, I'm building these brackets, and these are costing me about $2 each in electricity and filament, which isn't bad, you know. And this is a solid piece of plastic. So it takes 7 hours to print this thing. Like I said, I've got access holes so I can get to the upper screws to put them in, and it's pretty slick. And I designed this too, but I could go to the store probably for a couple dollars more. I could get steel ones, but they're not going to be as rigid, I don't think. and they're going to be kind of ugly. These actually look pretty good. And if I want to, I could paint them the same color as the wall. You know, it wouldn't take much to paint them up, and they'll blend right in. Like I said, I designed that so it wouldn't be... The metal ones, they've got more meat on them, sort of, even though they're probably not as strong as this. I think each one of these would probably hold 50 pounds, you know, before it snapped. So, like I said, price-wise, I don't know. That's really a tough call. But it is what it is, you know, so it's not a big deal. Like I said, in my case, I really do need both of them. Because I don't know, you guys probably remember, I had no love for resin printers at first. I'm thinking, you know, what kind of an idiot would buy one of these things, you know? Until I really started thinking about it, I said, you know, they're pretty handy to have, and you could do so much stuff with them, you know? And let's face it, you know, there's places out there, I'm not going to name names, you know what I'm talking about, that do, you know, figures and stuff. And they're not cheap. I mean, they're not crazy expensive, but you still have to paint them. They're not coming pre-painted. And, you know, $5 or $6 for a person. You know, get a few hundred people on your layout. You got some serious money going on there, you know. And you could print them for probably a penny each, maybe less, you know. And like I said, you can put as many people on the bill plate as you want, even different types of people. Like I print probably 30 people at a time, whether the same or not wouldn't matter. And it takes the same amount of time to print them. And the whole thing would probably cost me, like I said, maybe $1, you know, to print 30 people. If I bought 30 people at $5 a piece, yeah, we're talking some money here. So the reality is, and these machines are not that expensive. The Hallett, I bought that one for $149, or I think, or $125. I don't remember which. It was on sale, and then it broke down, so I bought another one. This one right here, I paid $60 for it. It was an open box one, and I think somebody bought it, didn't know how to use it. I don't think they ever fired it up because everything was just like it was from the factory, wrapped and all that. They sent it back, probably said it didn't work. So the company that took it back, you know, we'll just do an open box and $60 out the door, free shipping. So I bought it, taking a chance. I didn't know if it'd work or not, but it did. It works fine. So I did good on that. And the Anycubic Photon, I bought that one new. I think I paid $150 for that one. And I'm not sure which is better. I mean, they both do the job, you know. But the Anycubic has a slightly larger build plate. Only, I think, by a half an inch or so, but hey, it's something, right? So, like I said, for me, it really turned out to be good because I wanted to do people. I can't film and print people. It just won't do it, you know. And like detailed like vehicles and stuff, I couldn't do vehicles on that either. You know, because, hey guys, you know, can you make me a hearse? And I think Tom Grassi wanted a hearse. And I tried, and I couldn't print one right, you know. So he went out and bought a resin printer, and he printed it fine. I said, well, shit, maybe I need to get one of those, you know. So that's what I wound up doing, and now I can print pretty much whatever I want. Because what's going to happen is, like I said, there are companies out there that are seeing prices go through the roof in our hobby, you know. I said on Dave's morning show this morning, Morning Brew, I was telling these guys that I wrote in, I said, you know, I saw a Bachmann P42, you know, the modern Amtrak engine, $445, DCC and sound, but still, $445 for a Bachmann. You know, it's getting ridiculous, you know. I mean, I'm going to have to buy one way. Well, I'm going to buy a Kato, but I can get a Kato with DC for $161. And they're basically set up to put a sound card, you know, a sound decoder in there with speaker and everything. It's literally made for it. So it'll be another $100, but it'll be worth it. So I'm going to get one at some point, I believe. Unless I can find a good deal on an Acela Express. Once again, Bachmann has an Acela Express. It's DCC with sound. I believe it's got sound. And they wanted $599 for the real loco, a dummy loco, and three passenger cars. That's a lot of fucking money, So I think that you're going to see more people with businesses that get 3D printers. They're going to manufacture the stuff themselves to some degree, but they're going to be slightly cheaper than the big companies. Well, if you save $50, big deal. If you're already talking, you're over $400 for, say, a couple of train cars, and they could print you ones that are just as good, painted and everything, for $50 less. That's not really a deal. Because, the bottom line is, they're printing these things for literally a few dollars, like my, I'll show you an example. I get my fat ass up here. Now, a few months ago, I printed these. And I have 4 of them, but the 4th one sagged for some reason. This is completely printed except for the trucks. I printed the interior. I put lighting in it and a keep alive circuit. And it's not highly detailed, but it's not bad. They said I had to buy the trucks because they had to have the pickups on them. But the body and the interior I printed, and it cost me about $2 in filament and electricity. And this track's just as good as anything you buy from Bachmann or Athearn or Atlas, doesn't matter. I weighted it, it's all, all proper. And it's already lighted. Now I saw some, I think they were Atlas. Maybe they were Walthers. Walthers had the lighted Amtrak like that. I think this is the Phase 4 passenger car. They had lighted ones for $129 each. Now, granted, this was kind of a pain in the ass to paint. But I didn't do too bad. I could have done better, but it's good enough, It looks like they're worn out a little bit, and that's what I kind of wanted anyway. But it came out nice and it was inexpensive. So I built 4 of them for less than a fifth the price of one brand new one. That's what you got to do. Gerald said a friend of mine is moving into a 3D printed house. Yeah, they're pretty cool, man. It's a neat idea. Yeah, 130 in Vegas yesterday. Yeah, that's normal though. It is really. My neighbor's ex-husband, he was in Vegas for about 3 months running a deli truck up there, a food truck. He said average day was 120 to 124. No humidity. He says it's tolerable, but you'll still die if you had to have water with you everywhere you went, and air conditioning was an absolute must because it's just, humans aren't designed to live in that kind of environment. So it ain't got nothing to fucking do with, climate change. It's a desert, for Christ's sake. What do you think it's going to be, right? Well, that's what they say, Mickey, but they're really not. Like I said, they've been lying for many years for tourism about the true temperatures, Like they did that in Naples, Florida. They said for years we never had temperatures over maybe 101, 102. But the reality is 110, 112, 113. They were more normal than you realize, but they couldn't say that on the news because it would scare away tourists. Especially old people, They can't deal with that kind of heat. Fuck that. We're going to go somewhere else, somewhere cooler. And the same thing with even, one year I was up in Indiana. I used to travel during the winter for my vacations. I was up there, I think it was in December or January. I don't remember which. It was January. It was after Christmas. We had snow on the ground. It was down in the teens, like 19, 18 degrees above zero. My dad was still alive back then and coherent. He calls me up and he says, you okay up there? What do you mean? He says, well, just watching the weather report, they said you got blizzard conditions in Warsaw, Indiana. They're full of shit. No blizzard here. Got a foot of snow on the ground, down in the teens. It ain't no damn blizzard. But they lie to the people, the tourists down there, to keep them down there longer. Because basically the people would stay in Naples longer if back home was still really cold and snowy and shit. So they would just constantly lie about the weather pattern. They said most people are old. They may or may not have kids that live in the same area, probably not. And they really don't know what the temperatures are. They just assume that, the news would never lie, But this is common, so it's just the way it is. Raven says, it's got to the point where I now expect to find a 3D printed layout. Well, and there probably are some, I'm sure, except for the track. Like I said, that you still can't print. Or anything, motors or anything like that. But anything plastic, yeah, it can be printed. Track said, Mike says, don't come to my house. She's 69 in here. There you go. I keep mine around 78, only because the air conditioner it's not keeping up too well. But normally I would have it down around 76, 75. Here I've got the thermostat set at 60. It's nice in here, it's cold. And that's what I like, Not too cold, but for me it's comfortable. I don't know what the hell I did. It's 84 outside. It's still hot even this late at night, so. Free to tax. That jumped on me again, damn it. The Jim is taking Trudeau for it. I don't want that fucker here, man. No, thank you. I've only got one solution for him, and I can't say it. Track said, Mike says, here Trump is going to waive the tax at Pierre. Maybe, who knows? I don't think they want that guy. I heard he was going to see his dad in Cuba. Well, his dad's dead, unfortunately. Supposedly, Fidel Castro had an affair with a Canadian woman, and Trudeau is the illegitimate son. Could be. I mean, it's a rumor. It's never been proven one way or the other, but hey, who the hell knows, Mike says, what's the weight they can hold? Well, it depends what you make. Like I said, there's different, what they call infill amounts. If you go 100% infill, it's solid plastic, or filament. And they have different filaments too. Now I use PLA or PLA Plus. The PLA Plus is a little stronger and more resilient than the regular PLA. But they have ABS too. Now the ABS filament can hold a whole lot more weight than the PLA can. So it just depends what you're making and how thick you make it. Hey, CNL Lines, Curtis, how's it going? Good to see you. Like I said, this year, I've got these weighted. I think these are 6 ounces maybe. I don't remember. I went by the scale that tells you what the proper weight is for them, and I put the appropriate amount of weight in it. And they're pretty heavy, Like I said, they track well. I haven't had any issues with them at all. And I've got the Keep Alive circuit or current keeper in there that I made my own to keep the lights from flickering, so they're flicker-free lighting. And it works pretty good. So, and the ones you buy, like Waller's, they don't have the flicker-free lighting. They will flicker as you're going around the track. So You know, you'd think for $100 they'd give you something with all that crap already in it, but they don't. I don't know, what are you going to do? But got a lot of highs going on there. Yeah, prices are definitely going. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like I said, you know, what are you going to do? And at some point, like I said, there are things that they will never manufacture that if you're handy with a CAD program, you could design your own stuff. And that's what I've been doing lately. A lot of stuff I design and make to what I want it to do. Like I said, even though the truck is not mine, that's another file, but the tank is mine. And actually the frame section, the frame carrier, that's mine too. So I'm getting better at making stuff, you know. Still not perfect, but getting better. And, you know, and like I said, I've had to design the girders and stuff for the elevated rail. Now, most of them are 9 inches long, but in some cases I had to go a little shorter, so I'd have to compress one, you know. And I make all that stuff myself. Same with the supports. Now, this is an extra one. It's white. I've been mostly making them in the aluminum, but I designed this. This is all my design, and this is what the girder set on. It's the right width to match the girder, and they glue in there, and they're perfect. So, you know, like I said, I'm making whatever I need. And in some cases, you can't buy stuff like that. You know, so you can't buy it, you got to make it. Tom Grassi says, Jim, can't you find an STL file for the engine you need? I probably could. But then I'd have to find something to fit it on. So you still need the chassis, the motor, the drive assembly, you know. And realistically, like I said, $161 isn't bad. You know, I can live with that. I mean, I would buy a used one if they had them, you know. The used ones are hard to find because they're still fairly new. And in some cases, the used one probably is only $10 cheaper than a new one. So, you know, I mean, there's some things you have to buy. It's just the way it is, you know. But I'll look. I mean, you know, if there's something out there, like I said, I could buy chassis, you know, get on eBay and find an old DCC loco. You get one for, you know, 30, 40, $50. And as long as it fits the chassis or the shell that you're making, and you could design the shell to fit it, you know, that is one way to do it. It would work. So you never know. Like, so soon I buy scale trains cheaper and better built. Yeah. Now, unless you're printing them, then that's not going to happen. They said the prices are getting crazy. Oh, it jumped on me. Yeah, I know. Even the rolling stock is getting ridiculous too. I saw, well, somebody this morning was saying they were interested in getting well cars, and they said the well cars he found were $100 a piece, and the containers are like up to 30 now. The containers were 12 not that long ago. I could print containers all day long, you know, and I do. I have my own well cars too. I print well cars as well as containers, and they're every bit as good as anything you're going to buy. They're not metal. I mean, some of the well cars you buy are actually metal, but some of them are plastic too. So, and I paint them and decal them, and they look pretty decent. They're not, you know, crazy fucking accurate, but they're close. You know, I built some. I think I built 3 sets of well cars for less down in Australia. And he was real happy with them. I painted, I detailed them and everything for him. You know, so he bought the complete well car. And they were crazy because I think I wound up getting like $18 for each one. And that was with them painted, decaled, metal wheels and trucks on them, metal couplers, you know, good couplers, Katie's. and the whole shit for $18, and I still made money, you know. So like I said, and they work fine, you know. Mine work. You see mine all the time. I've got like a set of 4 that I run all the time on behind one of the engines. They never derail. I don't have any problems with them. The containers I made for them, I do weight the containers, because that's the only problem I got with the well card. They have stuff it's called liquid lead, and you get it in England, and it's these little metal balls. They're tiny, look like miniature BBs, and you turn the car upside down and fill in the gaps that's in the bottom of the car, and then put this epoxy resin in there, and it becomes instant weight. But I didn't really know about that when I built mine, so I just weighted the containers. I don't run them empty anyway. You know, I don't think I could run them empty because of that. But if I put that liquid lead in there, then I could run them empty. I wouldn't have to weight the containers either. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there that you can do that makes, you know. James says, I don't do any more rolling stock. You got plenty of it? I got 150 train cars. I'll probably get more at some point. You know, like I said, if I could, I've made some of my own. Curtis from C&L Lines, he had me make him an old, from the 60s, a cement car. And basically it was a gondola with these tanks on it, 5 tanks, that held cement. So I duplicated the pictures he sent me, and I made them, and I made myself one too. And also have the chlorine cars from the 60s. Once again, it's a flatbed car, and the small tanks that are lined up on them for the chlorine. Yeah, and they make them. You can have them, but they're hard to find, and they're probably expensive as shit. So I mean, I got them out of a book he had. You know, these things are real, and this book he had showed pictures of these older train cars that are unique. Yeah, I can make that, no problem. You know, so you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I saw that too, Tom. But you still got to have the rail. Now, if you were self-powered, you know, with a dead rail powered, it wouldn't matter. You could actually print the rails too. But unfortunately, dead rail hasn't gone mainstream yet. But I think it will at some point. You know, when the engine itself is self-powered. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that could actually revolutionize printing the track. You know, I mean, if you printed smaller well, like if you have the bigger resin printer like you have, you can print, because what, Atlas straights, the separate ones are 9 inches long. You could probably print that in a resin printer with track and everything if it was, you know, dead rail. You couldn't do 3-foot sections or, you know, flex black, but you know, I mean, anything's possible down the road. Who knows? Fan of Trains 5972. How you doing, fan? Good to see you. I'm a little. Oh, Chris is like, all right, James. Well, thanks for popping in, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time. Well, that's true. Birdshot would work too. Like I said, there's lots of ways to do the weights, you know. So, like I said, all you gotta do is glue them in. I mean, you could take probably Elmer's glue, you know, put your Birdshot in the bottom there, spread some glue in there, and let it float out. There you go, instant weight. I'm sure lots of ways to do it. All right, Steve. Well, take care, man. Thanks for popping in, and you have a good weekend too, and we'll see you next time. But yeah, there's, and I know I probably talk about this way more than I probably should, but 3D printing is going to be the wave of the future for our hobby. I guarantee it. You know, so there'll be some things you really can't print that you'll still have to buy, like track, and the track's gotten ridiculously expensive too. But track and locomotives, at least the chassis, that you're going to have to buy, or like you said, truck. Well, I print my own trucks now too, for the train cars. You still got to buy the wheels, but that's fine. They're not too crazy expensive. But, I probably saved a few $1,000s by printing my own stuff. So, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's still fairly new as far as the tech goes, but I think more and more people are going to dive into it, in the near future, especially as hobbyists, that don't have them yet. You guys are going to get into it. You're going to learn it. It's easy enough to learn. And you're going to start printing your own stuff, And since a lot of guys will share files, that gives you an amazing supply of files that are already there that you can work with, or you can make your own. So, Hey, Ken Amos Jr., how you doing? Good to see you here. All right, Steve, have a good one. Thanks for popping in. No, wait a minute. Didn't you say goodbye already? All right, we'll see you. Yeah, I see John said the same. Well, that's true. Like you said, well, of course, John, you're O scale, so you could get away with a larger shot. HO scale, we can get by, but N scale, I think, is where you'd run into problems. And now you're talking tiny. And forget about Z scale. But, hey, And for that matter, if you had a chunk of lead, you can always melt it down and make thin layers of it, that you could probably cut with snips or something to conform to whatever shapes you need it to do. There's a whole lot of ways to get around it. John said double hot buck. Well, yeah, for O scale, you can get away with that. But not so much for HO or N, though, Like I said, this liquid lead they have, I can't remember the exact name of it, but that's what they called it. It was little grains of lead, or something like lead. I don't think it was actual lead, but something heavy. And you just pour it into, like, if you got like a crevice underneath a flat car, an area that's nothing's there, and it's recessed, you pour the stuff in there, and you pour this quick drying resin in there, or glue, let it set for a few hours or whatever, and then boom, instant weight, It's slick as hell. I don't know what the price was on, I didn't look, but like I said, I haven't got to the point where I need something like that yet, but like I said, worst comes to worst, exactly. I'll just, I could buy shot, bird shot, and, from some of the ammo retailers, and melt the stuff down or do what I need to do, and I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, well, that's what I use here, actually. I bought these. They're here somewhere. I got these from Harbor Freight. There's a whole package of them. And they're individual weights. And these are half ounce. They have half ounce and quarter ounce. The quarter ounce is a little smaller. They said they're separate things. They're adhesive backs. So these are basically, they're wheel weights that you stick on the inside of an alloy wheel. I think it was $4 for like 100 of them. And I use these to weight down some of the cars that I print. And they work just great. Matter of fact, that's what's in this car. You can't see it now, but I had, before I put the frame on, I printed the body with two recessed slots in it. And they're big enough for each weight, so I've got two weights in here. So you got 1 ounce of weight, two halfers. And it's plenty heavy enough to do the job, and the frame covers it. Now with the ones I use the PVC pipe on, I can put the weights inside the pipe, and I could put many more in there if I want. And once again, that solves the problem before I put the caps on. But yeah, weight's a weight, man. You could utilize them. You'd be surprised. Like I said, Harbor Freight, if you have one in your area, they They come in a pack like this. Stickers. And I think there's 100 of them in. No, not 100. 3, 6, 9. I think there's 14. 4 times 14, so whatever that is. But like I said, you buy the whole pack for $4 and change. And they have them in ½ inch and they have them in quarter. So I can't remember, one of you guys were telling me about them. So I went down there. We have a Harbor Freight right down the road. So I went there, I bought a pack of them. I said, shit, I'm going to get them because you never know when you need them. And they came in handy. So, yeah, magnets will work as weights too, you know. And nuts. I've used nuts, you know. Matter of fact, I believe that's what's in my passenger car. They're 5/8 inch nuts. I just glued them on each end. I think there's 2 on one end and 2 on the other. Perfect weight. Good to go. So. Chuck says that I just started a 4-week class on Monday nights at our local library on 3D printing. First class got me pretty interested in it. We'll see how it goes the next 3 classes. You'll enjoy it. It's not hard. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get past that, you'll be fine. Now, filament printing is easier than resin printing, but not by much. They're relatively. There's a little bit more you need to know about resin printing. The filament, you put the spool on, you thread it through, and it pretty much does its own thing. You know, just make sure as long as your print bed is level, everything works fine. The resin's a little more complicated. Not only do you have to make sure your bed is level, there are also exposure times you may have to modify. It also depends on the resin you use. So if you do go into resin printing, try and stay with the same resin every time. I like the gray because it acts like a primer. I could paint it easily. But they make red, they make blue, they make translucent, they make clear. You know, if you stick with the same brand, more than likely, now I use the water wash resin because it costs a little bit more than the regular resin for the resin itself, but it's cheaper in the long run because you don't have to keep buying 91% alcohol to clean your parts with. You just use water, which is great, you know. So that's really the only thing you have to worry about. Like I said, if you get a specific, like I said, I'll buy the Creality Gray, for example, water wash, and I use it on both the Creality Howlet and the Anycubic Photon. Now I didn't have to make any changes on the Anycubic, but on the Howlet, and I don't know, it might have been because I read somewhere there's a slight weakness in the LEDs on the Creality Howlet, so I had to increase my exposure time a little bit, and that solved the problem. Because otherwise, I was getting too many failed prints. So I went from 2.5 seconds of exposure between layers to 4.5. And he said you have to work your own way out, figure it out. But for me, 4.5, perfect print. So that was the only thing you really had, the only problem I ran into. Got everything weights inside 10 plate card. Yeah, that's cool. Almost everything's weighted anyway. It has to be. Chuck says they have 2 filament printers that they are teaching with. That's cool. Like I said, the filament printers are the easiest to use. You just don't have the great detail with it. I mean, they do okay. Like I said, I printed this on a filament printer. It's a trailer. It's not bad, But then again, I printed this on the resin printer. You can't do this on a filament printer. It will not come out the same. So that's where you're going to get into you have to decide what you're going to print for yourself. You want to do larger structures or um, signals, all kinds of stuff that aren't incredibly small and detailed. The filament printer will do the job for you. Now, if you want to do people or detailed vehicles or stuff like that, then you're going to want the resin printer. So depending what you want to do with it, you know. Now, a lot of guys that just want to start with a filament printer. I paid, I think, $199 for the Anycubic Viper. It's a good printer. A lot of guys recommend the Creality Ender 3. It's a good printer too. Matter of fact, that's what. Damn it! I forgot his spot. Dwight. That's what Dwight has. He has an Ender 3, and his does beautiful prints. You know. And in some ways, it might even be better than the Anycubic. I'm not sure. They're very similar, so I think the Anycubic is a little bit cheaper. But those are the two brands I would go. I wouldn't go with anything else. That's right, Thomas. Plummer has the Ender 3 as well, right? So, and like I said, they're a good machine. They have come down. If you have the space, they have the Anycubic Cobra Plus. It's fucking huge. I mean, it has like, I think, an 18-inch build plate on it. If you're an O-scaler, this is probably what you'd want to get if you wanted to print, you know, train cars and stuff, because you could, you know. I'd have a tough time trying to print an O-scale train car on my Viper. But I'd probably have to do it in two pieces, you know. Like 1/2 and 1/2. But they actually have the Max. It's I think it's $400, $399, something like that. But it's fucking huge, you know. I don't know if Creality has one or not. They probably do, you know. Probably even a little bit cheaper. Who knows? Well, like I said, if you want to make stuff like that, train cars, anything O scale really, but even HO scale stuff you can do a lot with. Structures, buildings, and what have you. Signage, the way to go. You know, there's a lot of stuff you're not going to find, especially if you have something, you know, unusual. You can design and build it, and you're good to go. You know. So that's pretty cool that they actually got classes for it. I wasn't aware of that, but and they kind of probably need them, because I think a lot of guys, they're intimidated by 3D printers. You know. Like, you know, I ain't fucking with that thing, you know. But they're really not as hard to work on as you think. I mean, they're very simple devices. It's just, you're basically melting plastic and putting a thin bead and layering it, you know, building it until you build something that's, you know, what you want. It's like half CNC machine and half something else, you know. But they work great. They're easy to use. And, you know, if you have ready-made files, the STLs, somebody else went to the trouble to make. And there are a lot of free STL files that are for everything you can think of. You just put it on your SD card or run it through your computer, however you decide to do it. Hit go, and there you go. And a few hours later or whatever, you got a printed piece of printed plastic that's every bit as good as anything you'd buy in the store, you know? I'm telling you, that's where it's going to go. Because I don't see prices coming down anytime soon, if ever. You know. And it's bullshit because, you know, a fucking piece of plastic should not cost $100. I don't care what anybody says, you know. There's just no reason for it. And I said the locomotives, they're getting ridiculous too. Like I said, if you can get an old DC or DCC ready shell loco, you know, it doesn't matter what shell's on it because you're going to put a new shell on it for something you want. Well, there you go. You can get that chassis or whatever for probably $50-$60, you know, depending where you get it from. Lots of possibilities, without a doubt. I got a text. Who did I get a text from? Uh-oh. What the hell? From Trump. Biden's press conference was a disgrace. He's a vegetable. 1 million Trump endorsements needed now. Yeah, sure they are. I ain't giving him no money. But he's funny, though. He's a vegetable. Kind of. It is what it is, but I hate getting junk text on my phone. That's a rant for another day. But, so anyway, it's almost 9 o'clock. It's 10 till, so I think we're going to wrap it up in 10 minutes. I pretty much covered everything I needed to. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Yeah, a couple years ago, I bought this at Harbor Freight. Let's see if I can show it to you. Yeah, this I got. It's a little miniature table saw. Pretty slick. It's got a guard on it and everything. And I think I paid $30 for it. But it's real handy for cutting plastic, small pieces of wood. And I don't use it often, but I actually had to cut some plastic with it a couple of days ago, so I drug it out. It does a beautiful job. It's simple. Has an adjustable bed on it, adjustable table. So the blade doesn't move, the table actually goes up and down. It's actually made by Chicago Electric. 14,000 RPM. Half-inch arbor. And it came with an extra blade too, a finer blade. Plus you could actually put a tile cutting blade on there if you wanted. You wanted to cut tile with it. So, I mean, for $30 you couldn't go wrong. I got all kinds of little things around here. Like I said, I've got the laser engraver, little deal that you can burn into wood, plastic, metal, whatever. Matter of fact, I don't know if I ever showed you these guys. Oh. What you do with that? I bought these pieces of metal. They're business cards, but they're metal. And they were perfect for engraving. Let me change cameras here. And this is what I did with the engraver. So this is how I named my areas. This is Gateway. And it's all burnt into the, I got the blue cards. And it burns into it. And you get the silver background. They're pretty slick. So, you know, I think I made some of these plates for somebody about a year ago. I don't remember. But I could do wood. I could do metal like this. Pretty cool. I don't think I gave much for that either. I got that from China. But it's limited to the size you can do. I think it's, the biggest you can do, I think, is 8 inches square, 8 by 8. But still, it's pretty handy because you could make stuff like this. And like I said, I put the business card onto a piece of trim. You know, glued it on there and then glued it up where I needed it. Pretty slick. So, like I said, I'm buying all kinds of things that I can utilize for the layout, you know. And like I said, because I have them and a lot of guys don't, if you need something like that, give me a yell. Got to deal with you, you know. So, I guess lots of different things you mess with here. Encoding overloaded. Really? They don't have any drop frames. Matter of fact, we're in the green. We're doing pretty good for a change. Imagine that. And we're getting close to quit time here. So, yeah, I think that's about all I got really to talk about. Like I said, next week I'll have more to show with the upper level, hopefully more or less completed the frame anyway. And maybe I'll even have the highway. I don't know, maybe I'll start on the highway. And some of the background buildings, I'll have to print some of that stuff too. So we'll see. Lots of things to do. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. We'll run the outro in a bit. Of course, as usual, I want to thank everybody for showing up. Hope you all had fun. I know I did. We talked mostly about trains, which is a good thing. I know some of the guys get mad because, I get off on a political rant or whatever. But hey, it is what it is. So, let's see. Actually, let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay. We're caught up. I haven't had any problems with the overlay lately in the chat, so knock wood, Alright guys, listen, have a good one. Everybody have a good and safe weekend. Remember to play with your trains when and where you can. And we'll see you next week. Oh yeah, don't forget to wave to the signal man, because, that fucking slacker's still out there. And I'm going to go ahead and put up the outro. So we'll see you next week. Good night, Gerald. Have a good one. And good night, Curtis. Good night, John. Good night, Chuck. Good night, Ken. Good night, Thomas. Hey, Tom. You did miss it. You'll have to watch the replay. That's okay. You have a good night too, Chuck. Good night, Raymond. And don't forget, Tom, to watch Tom's Workbench Wednesday, 8 o'clock Wednesday night. Good night, Mickey. Thanks, Derek. You have a good night, too. Alright, he's coming up. Remember to flip him off. You gotta get rid of that guy, I'm telling you what, he's really milking.